Beginning, the containment wing. The creature had no name, only a designation, Specimen X-17. In the underground containment wing of Helios Academy, it was known by other things as well: an abomination, a weapon, a failure of ethics committees long buried under classified redactions. Its file listed more than 30 incidents of attempted breach, 14 fatalities, and one unexplained behavioral anomaly labeled unresolved human bond response. The anomaly was why it still lived. Helios Academy trained the brightest minds of 12 species, but humans had founded it. Their campus rose above the crimson desert of Solara Prime like a crystal city, but beneath it lay laboratories that never saw sunlight. X-17 lived there, behind a triple-layer containment field and walls thick enough to stop artillery. Dr. Ilara Chin, chief xenobiologist, watched the creature through reinforced glass. It stood on 6 limbs, towering over her by 2 meters, its chitinous hide etched with scars and containment implants. Its head resembled a lupin skull stretched into alien geometry, with bioluminescent eyes that never fully closed. "Today," she murmured into her recorder, "we test controlled exposure to human juveniles. Ethics Board Approval Code Sigma 7. Subject selected for minimal fear response." She hated the phrase subject selected, but protocol demanded distance. The door hissed open behind her. "Are you sure about this, Doctor?" asked Headmaster Vreel, his avian crest trembling with unease. X-17 is classified as apex predatory organism. Bringing a child is precisely why we must, Ilara interrupted. During Incident 12, it shielded a maintenance worker instead of attacking. That worker was human. Something in its neural architecture recognizes us differently. Or it was an error. Or it's the key to preventing a massacre if this thing ever escapes. Vreel said nothing more. Silence was agreement. An hour later the child arrived. His name was Eli Carter, 12 years old, transfer student from Earth. Small for his age, with unruly dark hair and the kind of cautious curiosity that humans called bravery and other species called recklessness. He stood in the observation chamber with his hands in his pockets, staring through the glass at X-17. "That's the monster?" he asked. "It is a sentient organism," Ilara corrected. "You will remain behind the barrier at all times. You are not to approach, touch, or speak loudly." Eli nodded, though his eyes lit with fascination rather than fear. "It looks lonely." X-17 turned its head, eyes narrowing, focusing on the human child. The sensor spiked. The anomaly had begun again. Middle, the pack leader. At first, Eli visited once a week. He sat on the floor with a data pad, sometimes doing homework, sometimes drawing sketches of alien landscapes he imagined. He talked to the creature despite the rules, his voice muffled through the glass. "Hi, I'm Eli. You probably don't understand me, but I don't understand anyone here either. So I guess we're even." X-17 watched him. It did not pace, did not snarl. Its heart rate slowed. Ilara logged every detail. Weeks passed. Eli brought books and read aloud. He described Earth's oceans, the sound of rain on rooftops, the concept of dogs. When he laughed, the creature's bioluminescent patterns shifted, flickering like curious stars. One day Eli asked, "Why are you chained?" Ilara muted the channel but watched as the boy pressed his hand to the glass. "You're not a monster," he said softly. "You're just stuck." X-17 raised one clawed limb and placed it against the barrier, mirroring him. The anomaly intensified. The ethics board argued for termination. Ilara argued for continuation. She won, barely. Then came the breach. It happened during a solar storm. Power grids flickered, containment fields fluctuated, and automated defenses rebooted. X-17 sensed weakness and struck with precision that proved it had been studying the facility for years. Chains snapped. Walls cracked. Alarms screamed. Students and faculty evacuated into shelters as emergency shutters sealed corridors. Ilara ran toward the containment wing. "X-17 has escaped," security shouted over comms. "Apex organism loose in Sector 3. Lethal force authorized." Ilara ignored them. She knew where it was going. She reached the student dormitory just as X-17 emerged from a shattered wall, towering, bleeding, free. Armed drones descended, firing stun pulses and kinetic rounds. X-17 swatted them aside like insects. Students screamed and fled. All except one. Eli stood in the hallway, frozen, staring at the creature that had watched him for months. Eli, run. Alara shouted. You didn't? X-17 stopped. It looked at the human child. And then, impossibly, it turned its back to him. A security team rounded the corner, weapons raised. Target acquired. Before they could fire, X-17 lunged, not at Eli but toward the guards, intercepting their shots with its body. Its claws disarmed them with frightening precision, but it did not kill. It pushed them aside, placing itself between them and the boy. Alara stared in shock. Stand down, she yelled into her comm. It's protecting him. X-17 lowered itself in front of Eli, forming a living shield. The boy's hands trembled, but he reached out and touched the creature's chitin. You're okay, he whispered. They're scared. But you're okay. X-17 rumbled, a sound that translated roughly to pack signal in its neural patterns. The academy fell silent. From that moment on, the narrative changed. X-17 was no longer just a weapon or a monster. It had chosen a pack leader. And that leader was a human child. Middle, the guardian of Helios. Negotiations followed. Humans argued for relocation of Eli, for safety protocols, for weaponization of the bond. Aliens argued for extermination of X-17. Eli argued for friendship. He saved me, he said in front of the council, his voice shaking but firm. You can't just kill him for being scared. Alara supported him. X-17 exhibits unprecedented social imprinting. If we terminate it, we lose a chance to understand cross-species empathy at a fundamental level. The council compromised. X-17 would remain free within restricted zones under Eli's supervision. They called him the Guardian. Students began to see the creature not as a nightmare, but as a silent sentinel that followed a small human boy through the halls. When a xenophobic student tried to sabotage the dormitory power systems, X-17 detected the intruder and pinned him until security arrived, without harming him. When a cargo pod malfunctioned and threatened to crash into the central plaza, X-17 used its immense strength to redirect it, saving dozens. Every action was recorded. Every action changed policy. Eli became famous. He hated it. People only like me because of him, he told Alara one evening as they sat in the observation garden. X-17 lay nearby, coiled like a living fortress. They like you because you chose kindness when fear would have been easier, Alara said. But what if he stops listening to me? Alara looked at the creature, then back at the boy. Then we'll face it together. That night, she updated the research log. X-17 demonstrates pack hierarchy recognition, with Eli Carter designated Alpha. Behavioral aggression suppressed in presence of Alpha. This challenges established theories of non-human dominant structures. Humans, it turned out, were not just conquerors or diplomats. They were pack leaders. Middle, the test of loyalty. Years passed. Eli grew taller, more confident. X-17 grew larger, more intelligent, its neural implants allowing communication through translated symbols and tones. But not everyone celebrated. A coalition of alien governments demanded Helios Academy shut down the experiment. They feared humans weaponizing bonded apex predators. Their fears escalated when a rival research station released footage of engineered beasts controlled by human handlers. Eli saw the news and felt sick. They're copying us, he said. They're turning creatures into tools. Alara nodded. And they'll use X-17 as justification. The coalition sent an inspection team with authority to terminate the Guardian if deemed a threat. The team arrived armed and hostile. During their tour, one inspector deliberately provoked X-17 with sonic pulses and pheromonal aggression triggers. X-17 reacted, roaring, slamming its claws into the floor. Students scattered. See, the inspector declared. A weapon under human control. Dangerous. Unpredictable. Eli stepped forward. Stop, he said quietly. X-17 froze. Its bioluminescence dimmed. It lowered its head. The inspector's expression shifted from smugness to unease. Eli walked to the creature and placed his hand on its head. He's not a weapon, he said. He's my friend. And if you keep treating him like a bomb, he'll act like one. If you treat him like a person, he'll protect you. The inspection report changed the next day. They recommended continued study rather than termination. Humanity had passed another test, not with force but with restraint. Middle, the crisis of Solara Prime. The true test came 5 years later. A rogue asteroid fragmented in Solara Prime's orbit, sending debris toward Helios Academy. Defense systems failed. Evacuation was impossible within the time frame. Panic spread across the city. Eli, now 17, stood on the central balcony with X-17 beside him. They're going to die, he whispered. Ilara joined them, her face pale. The impact zone includes the academy. We have minutes. X-17 looked toward the sky, its sensors detecting gravitational anomalies. Its translator emitted a sequence of tones that Ilara decoded in real time. Massive threat. Pack in danger. Protect. But how? Eli asked. X-17 turned toward the energy core beneath the academy, the experimental gravitational field generator. Ilara's eyes widened. If overloaded, it could create a localized gravity well and pull the fragments away. But the operator would be inside the core during overload. They would not survive. X-17 began moving. Wait, Eli said, grabbing its limb. You can't. You'll die. Pack survival priority. Alpha safety override. Eli's eyes filled with tears. I'm your pack. I don't want you to die. X-17 paused. For the first time, its bioluminescence flickered erratically. Ilara watched two forms of intelligence collide. Instinctual pack logic versus learned human emotion. Eli, she whispered, this is what being a leader means. Sometimes the pack chooses to sacrifice. He shook his head. No. Humans don't lead by sacrifice. We lead by finding another way. He ran to the control room. I'll do it, he said. I'm Alpha. My pack follows me. Ilara grabbed his arm. You're a child. Not anymore. X-17 blocked the door, towering over him. Alpha must live. Eli looked up at his friend. Then help me find another way. That's an order. X-17's neural patterns surged. Its translator emitted a cascade of tones, algorithms forming strategies in seconds. Ilara watched in awe. Together, she said, we might be able to redirect the core remotely if X-17 interfaces directly with the generator. But that would fry his implants, Eli said. Pain acceptable. Death unacceptable. They worked together, human ingenuity and alien biology intertwined. X-17 linked its neural network to the core, amplifying the gravitational field without overload. The asteroid fragments curved away from the city, drawn into a controlled orbit. Helios Academy survived. The city survived. And X-17 collapsed, implants burned but life intact. Eli held its massive head in his arms, crying. You're an idiot, he whispered. But you're my idiot. X-17 emitted a soft, rumbling tone. Pack confirmed. Ending, the legend of the Guardian. Years later, Helios Academy taught the story as part of interspecies ethics curriculum. Children of dozens of species learned about the monster who chose a human child. Eli became a xenobiologist, following in Ilara's footsteps. He published groundbreaking work on cross-species bonding and pack psychology, reshaping diplomacy and military doctrine alike. X-17 lived out its days not in a cage, but in the gardens of Helios, surrounded by students who climbed on its armored back and listened to Eli's lectures about empathy. One evening, as twin suns set over Solara Prime, Eli sat beside his old friend. You know, he said, they still call you a monster in some history books. X-17's eyes glowed softly. Monster. Guardian. Friend. But, yeah, Eli smiled. I like Guardian better. Ilara, older now, watched them from a distance, her recorder still in hand. Final log. Specimen X-17 reclassified as sentient allied species individual. Case study demonstrates that humans possess a unique capacity for cross-species leadership based on empathy rather than dominance. The Guardian of Helios stands as proof that even the most feared beings can become protectors when shown trust. As night fell, X-17 curled around the young students playing in the garden, forming a living wall against the wind. And the galaxy learned a lesson it would never forget. Sometimes, the most terrifying monsters only need a human child to show them what it means to belong.